Hey all, welcome to my series How to Beat the Extreme AI, where I'm going to bring you a whole load of different ways to beat that pesky computer. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to beat the Extreme AI with just scouts. Nothing else. That means no castle age, no skirmishers, no towers, nothing. Just the majestic unit that is the scout cavalry. So first of all, let's address the obvious issue with this: spearmen. These guys have a plus 15 attack bonus against cavalry. Just one on its own can get an even trade against 2 scouts. On top of that, they even cost less than scouts. As soon as the AI sees that you've made a stable, it's going to start making spears, and oh boy, does the AI like to make spears. We're going to have to use all the speed we can muster to outrun those counter units, snipe villagers, get an eco lead, and then deal the killer blow. So which civ do we use? There are loads of good civs to go full feudal scouts with. To name a few, there's Lithuanians and Mongols, who can make it to the feudal age really quickly. Magyars and Berbers get cheaper scouts, with Magyars also getting forging for free. Bulgarians get cheaper techs to their blacksmith. But for this challenge, I'm going for Sicilians, as I think they get the best bonus for this kind of strategy out of all civs. Half the bonus damage that enemy spears do to scouts is removed, so our wonderful scouts won't have any strong counters in feudal age. Okay, so here we go. This starts in the same way as always. We get our town centre rolling, creating villages, and we build 2 houses. We then put our first 6 villagers onto sheep under the town centre, or maybe I should say geese in this occasion. I then place the next 3 villagers onto wood. Often you put 4 onto wood at this point, but we don't need a lot of wood for a scout rush, so we can get away with 3 for the time being. The next villager lures a boar, and the next builds a house. We then send 4 villagers to berries, or you can make them finish off the sheep under your TC before sending them to go forage. While doing all of this, I'm running around with my scout in bigger and bigger circles until I found all of my 8 starting sheep and both my starting boars. If you like, you can push in a deer here. This gives you a little more food for your scout rush, but you don't need to do this if you don't want to. As a summary, I put my first 6 villagers onto sheep, next 3 onto wood, next one brought a boar in, 4 to berries, bring another boar in, and the next 4 villagers onto food under the TC. Don't forget to click loom, and you'll be good to go for heading up to the feudal age at 20 population. And don't forget to build houses. As soon as you click feudal age, you'll need to send 6 villagers from under your TC to go build a new lumber camp, so you have 9 on wood in total. When you're about halfway up, get a villager to start building a barracks, and as soon as you reach feudal age, get 2 villagers to build a stable. Throughout feudal age, you want to keep your town centre making villagers. Get double bit axe and horse collar as soon as possible. You should be able to get horse collar before you make any farms. When your stable is up and running, start producing scouts straight away whenever you can afford them. And when you have 3 scouts total, go and attack your opponent. Ideally, you want this to be before minute 12, as then you can be pretty sure that your opponent hasn't had any time to do much in the way of defence. Now this is where it gets quite tricky. Don't try to win the game with just the first few scouts. Just try and harass your enemy. If you can kill a villager or 2, that's great. But it's much more important to try and keep your scouts alive, running around their villages and idling their economy. It's really important to keep your eco running too, and in feudal age this is fairly easy. Set a few waypoints for your scouts to run around the enemy's base and generally stop them running into the enemy's TC. Then head back to your own town centre. To make sure your eco is supporting your endless scouts, make sure your TC is producing villagers as much as possible and set your TC's gather point to wood. Then whenever you can, take villagers off wood and build farms. That's it. As you get better at this, you'll find you're floating less and less wood, giving you more and more food to make loads of scouts with. So here I'm starting to get a really nice number of scouts, and I can start to commit a bit more heavily on killing villagers. Even with Sicilians, you don't want to fight spearmen until you absolutely have to. So for now, keep running away from them whenever they get near. So this is my first really good opportunity to get some proper damage in this game, as the AI is trying to build this tower. For some reason, it's really keen on getting this tower up, so I'll just keep my scouts around until it loses all of these villagers. I'm starting to get a bit of a score lead here, so clearly my aggressive approach is paying off. Make sure you keep jumping back to your eco whenever you can, and keep dropping those farms. When you're finding it easy to keep constant production of scouts without idling your TC, it's time to drop a blacksmith and get the attack and armour upgrades for your scouts. You'll probably want to do this around minute 15 or so. Once you have these, drop a second stable and double your scout production. Around this point you can also send a couple of villagers to mine some gold so you can afford bloodlines. Now you're really starting to get scout numbers up. Keep running around the AI's base, killing villagers on woodlines and gold whenever possible. Whenever you start to feel that you're building up a bank of food, drop another stable and increase your scout production. Finally, we're getting to the point where we need to take the big fight against the spearmen. I have all my upgrades, I have gathered up all my scouts, and I'm going to try to head to this little hill and take the fight downhill. With the Sicilian's ability to ignore bonus damage and the advantage of fighting downhill, I win the battle and get free reign over the enemy's village. To finish the job off, I scatter my units around the enemy lumber camps, mining camps, and try to stop their villagers being able to take any useful resources and get them all stuck in their town centre. I find it's best if you put a few units in loads of different groups, put them on defensive stance, so they stick roughly where you left them. And finally, the AI sees that there is no hope, makes an excuse, and the victory is yours. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more of this series, like the video or drop a sub below. If you want to see a particular strategy featured in the next video, or have any questions about this one, please leave a comment. That's all for now, catch you all in the next video, and good luck with your endless scout rushes.